Will, really enjoy the film. Pleasure to meet you.
Well, that was very fast. Pleasure to meet you too, my friend.
You know, I love watching movies, even if, whether they're shot on a soundstage or just in a small restaurant or a small apartment. I think one of the great things about this movie, felt to me as a viewer that it was that one of the best parts of shooting this movie maybe was the location and the vistas or just the environment. Am I wrong on this? What was that production like for you shooting on location as opposed to that soundstage experience?
Yeah, no, I mean, we shot both. We shot on a soundstage in Mexico City and we shot on location. So, we got the best of both worlds. But I feel like one of the things I love about this movie is that it is so epic in scope. Like we have scenes with hundreds of extras, and there's scenes that you wouldn't see in this type of horror movie unless it was made by a studio, where you get such epic scenes. And so, to me, I feel like so many horror films are like, six people and in a cabin lost in the woods, and then there's a murderer coming to get them. And this feels like a small movie in terms of there's the relationships between the core characters, and yet it's within a huge context of not only the church within the country, but then the even larger global context of the church in the world and what it does for the benefit of people. And so I feel like this is an incredible film for that reason, because it has scope, it has magnitude in a way that people aren't expecting from an Exorcist movie, you know?
I mean, just simply put, maybe it's a silly question, but I don't mind slow burn exorcism thrillers or slow burn thrillers in general. But this movie, it really just goes for the gusto. You acted, and everyone acted their butts off on this movie. Was that one of the reasons why I loved it? That it didn't hold back. It wasn't atmospheric and moved at a snail's pace. I love the fact that it really pushed things.
No, I mean, I feel like so many movies have like one scene or one moment that they have the whole movie based on. And I feel like this movie is just scene after scene after scene after scene after scene after scene after scene is just like, oh, intense and gnarly and in your face and challenging and exciting and scary. And so, I mean, there's so much movie that is in this film in an hour and a half. It's crazy in my opinion. So when I read the script, I was like, oh my God, this thing is out of control. I love it. There's so much going on.
Yeah. Also, can you just talk about your ensemble? You're pretty much supported by a really talented cast to help you on this journey. You know, whether it's a fellow father or it's a person who's possessed or it's someone you have history with. You were really able to play off some real, just vibrant and effective actors as well.
Yeah, it was great because we had actors kind of from all over the world in this story. We had JosephMarcell from England. And he's an English actor, and him and I play priests together, and he's kind of a mentor figure for me. And I feel really fortunate because I feel like I had really good chemistry with him, and that was directly on the screen. I feel like in all of our scenes there was this palpable chemistry between us that wasn't spoken about, that just happened to be there. And I feel a lot of people just trust our relationship from moment one. It's like they know each other. They've known each other for years. Awesome. I believe it, and I'm not even thinking about it. And the same with Irán Castillo. She's an amazing. She's done so many things. She's like an incredible singer and wrote multiple major pop hits in Mexico and Latin America. And she's also a great actor. And so we had this great chemistry between us. I don't even, sometimes you don't even know how or why it happens, but it just does. And I felt like we've had this relationship for also a really long time. And what I loved about working with Maria is that there was mystery between us, which I felt like was totally right for the relationship between them. There was like, I don't know who you are, but I feel you and I'm uncomfortable by it. And there's things that are happening that are confusing. And I don't know what this means, but it it has my attention. It's drawing me in and I can't explain why. And I feel like that we had that great relationship too, that I feel like, I don't want to give spoilers, but it gets resolved obviously to some extent towards the end of the film. But yeah, I feel like we have a great nucleus of characters that are all from different countries and that brought their own unique experience to the film.
Well, this movie can be enjoyed just on a purely visceral movie-going sense, which is great, but it also has this really subtle theme about, and I think a lot of people don't even want to face this, that in order to do good in the world, you might have to compromise your own values or maybe let something that you don't want in to the world as a compromise. Can you just talk about that without giving too much away? I just thought that was just a really interesting little subtle thing that was really put in the film.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, people of the faith are having really strong reactions to this movie, both positive and negative. I feel like it's a pretty controversial. It's been fairly controversial in Latin America, and and I love that because it's making people think, and it's making people bring up themes like you're talking about. And yeah, I think that was part of what Alejandro was looking at, is putting someone in an impossible situation and saying it's not just movies where people are put in impossible situations like this. This is happening a lot in our lives. And how do we deal with these situations? How do we choose what is the best path forward?
Well, speaking of best path forward, I was looking at your Twitter account, also your IG, and you're talking about digital currency and everything. I am, you know, I love cryptocurrency as well. We're not just
Yeah.
crypto bros. What happens when people talk to you and say, it's just, this is, it's not real. This is not. Uh, do you want to go on that long spiel about, it has a utility. There is a future. This is Web3. This is the meta. Do you try to explain to them, or do you just let sleeping dogs lie when people come with you like this? It's imaginary money.
Yeah, no, I mean it's complicated in certain ways, but I feel like I look at the easiest thing. I go is I talk to them about Bitcoin, and I go, look, Bitcoin is, you say it's digital gold. You can, gold can be moved, but it's a nightmare to move. Bitcoin you can move within a few minutes across anywhere in the world, no matter the exact amount of it, and you can move it for a cost that is so inexpensive compared to moving that amount of gold. But more importantly, when people say how do people find value in it, or how does it value, it's just partly like gold. Like gold has value because of how hard it is to mine and the uses of it. Bitcoin is the same. It has value because of how hard it is to mine. It takes time, it takes energy, and it takes computing power. And more of that energy is being run now on renewable energy, which is great. So it's becoming the most effective form of money in the world, and there's no other system that is deflationary. So I think it's a no brainer. And when you think of all the, currencies are supposed to last 100 years, typically that's the way they're set up. If you look at all the previous dictatorship currencies, such or main empire currencies, such as the one in the Roman Empire and I think the Dutch Empire, and they only last 100 to 150 years because they're set that way. They're inflationary, so they run themselves out.
Just on a fun level, Will, when you and I were growing up, we would collect DVDs and Blu-rays and physical media and that
Yeah.
vinyl, and there's nothing wrong with that. We will still continue to collect, but isn't it cool that people younger than us now, down the road, maybe it's right around the corner, that people, cinema and television will be really immersed in the whole NFT universe, so people can actually collect some of these things. Like if the Exorcism of God was released maybe several years later, we would be collecting NFTs of your characters and whatnot. Are you excited about that space? And I mean, just on a fun level.
Yeah, I'm. I was talking to Alejandro about creating NFTs for the film, but I think we've just been so busy that it hasn't been something. And I think I don't know how exactly it would work. So it feels like it needs more. I would need to put more brain power and focus into figuring out how it would benefit the movie itself. I assume it's another way to add fan base and add people to watch the movie and be connected to the movie. So I foresee, being that I am of the brethren of the crypto world, that we will probably have NFTs if and when we do a sequel for this film, which I think everyone keeps asking us, when's the sequel? When's the sequel? So I know Alejandro had that already in his mind when he wrote this, um, and I feel like it's he set it up beautifully for that.
Yeah, Will, are you fluent in Spanish? And if so, that's a great passport to just the entire world, don't you think? I mean, I speak broken Spanish, and I'm 50. I want to get back on the horse and just start speaking
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
I mean, I did it in junior high and high school, so I technically like am fluent, but I wouldn't say I'm fluent. But I spend a good amount of time in Mexico, in Latin America, um, and when I'm down there, my Spanish is good enough to get by. Uh, so I was thinking about this morning actually while I was taking a shower. Like I should get my Spanish to another level in terms of being more specific about certain things. Um, the tenses, like the los, and there's certain things like that I don't want to go into right now. But so yeah, I'm thinking of increasing my aptitude in my Spanish myself.
Well, before I let you
Why
go,
not?
yeah, just wondering, final question, right off the top of your head, can you name one of your all-time favorite films, and what is it about this specific movie that still resonates with you today?
Dead Poets Society, and it would be Robin Williams and the theme of Carpe Diem, seize the day.
Wow. Were you a teenager the first time you saw it, and did it really impact you as far as going on that acting artist journey
Yeah,
after watching?
I was moved. So I was moved to tears, and and then I ended up seeing Robert Sean Leonard later in like in a restaurant, and I was starstruck by him, and I went up to talk to him, and I had a really hard time talking to him. It was in like some small restaurant in San Diego because he was doing a play at the Old Globe Theater.
Well, you can do it now because you're a veteran thespian, correct? I mean,
Yes.
right. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed your film.
Yeah, you too, man. And please tell everybody, Greg, that, the more the merrier. It's going to be in 66 theaters now in the US starting on Friday. And it's in pretty much every major city in the US now, from like Charleston to Dallas to Houston. I don't know where you live, San Antonio.
Okay, I'm over in LA, but yeah, we'll definitely plug that as well. So thanks again,
Yeah,
Will.
it's
Really
in
appreciate it.
LA now. 6 theaters, man. I'm stoked. It was supposed to be in only a few, and now it's in like six. So I hope it just keeps the buzz keeps growing and growing. Anyway,
All
have a
right.
great week.
Take care,
Nice to
Matt.
meet you, Greg. All the
Nice to meet
best.
you.